We're going to be removing homeless encampments from all over our parks, our beautiful, beautiful parks.
They're making you move.
Right.
How many times have you had to move?
I moved like 8 times.
Well, what did they give you an alternative? I mean, what's your options there?
Jail or leave the town.
Across the United States, something has quietly vanished. In Los Angeles, the endless rows of tents that once crowded Skid Row are fading away. In San Francisco, the makeshift shelters beneath the freeways have been cleared out. And in Washington, D.C., the bridges that once sheltered dozens are now spotless silent. At first glance, it looks like progress. The sidewalks are open again, the parks look cleaner, and downtowns seem to be coming back to life. Everything appears to have been scrubbed, sanitized, and restored. But the problem itself hasn't gone anywhere. In July 2025, President Donald Trump signed a new executive order, a sweeping campaign to restore law and order in America's cities. Yet beneath the slogans and headlines, the reality of homeless in America is far more complicated. What has really disappeared? The homeless, or our conscience, our humanity, and our sense of justice. This documentary will take you into the places few dare to look, uncovering what's happening on the streets right now, and the truths carefully left out of political speeches and polished news segments. Keep watching, because what you're about to see may change how you understand the crisis and challenge everything you thought you knew about homeless in America.
Judge everybody on an individual basis, you know? I mean, we all got problems, obviously, or we wouldn't be homeless. But I mean, like, I don't drink, I don't do drugs or any of that, you know. I got my problems, but that's not one of them, you know. A lot of times when people approach you, you know, that's what they think. If you're out here, you have to be a drug addict or drunk or something like that. That's not the case, man. Circumstances put me here.
The new war on the streets. Trump's executive order grants local governments broad power to sweep encampments from public spaces, parks, sidewalks, bridges, and relocate people to government-run shelters or treatment centers. Federal funding has been restructured too. For years, the Housing First model, which provided stable housing without requiring sobriety or employment, was considered the cornerstone of homeless policy. That model is now being dismantled. Under this new system, housing is no longer a right but a reward. Those seeking shelter must first submit to treatment or enroll in work programs. To supporters, it's long overdue, a necessary correction to what they see as failed compassion. They argue the old approach encouraged addiction dependency and chaos. To critics, it's a moral backslide, a policy that criminalizes poverty and blames the vulnerable for their own suffering. The debate order of oppression. The crackdown has split the nation. For many Americans, especially those living near encampments, the new policy feels like long-awaited relief. Streets are cleaner, crime rates in some neighborhoods have dropped, and cities finally appear under control. Supporters say, compassion without structure failed, and this is finally a government willing to act.
And now his federalization of the DC Police and National Guard further our belief that he is going to round up homeless people across the country and force them into government-run detention camps. That will not help anybody. That will make homelessness worse, waste resources, and turn America into a fascist authoritarian police state.
But others see something darker. Civil rights groups have filed multiple lawsuits arguing that Trump's directive violates constitutional protections against cruel and unusual punishment. Homeless advocates call it what it is: a campaign to erase the visible signs of suffering rather than address the causes. Early data supports their fear. Since the order took effect, arrests of homeless people have nearly doubled in several major cities. While visible homelessness has declined, the total number of people without stable housing, those sleeping in cars, motels, or temporary shelters, continues to climb. The truth is, the problem hasn't been solved. It's simply been pushed out of view. The numbers look better only because the cameras aren't pointed where people are now.
The DPPD had my stuff thrown away, and in one of my totes was my son's urn. My son's forever gone, and I only have a piece of him, an urn necklace that I keep dear to my heart, you know, like, that's things I can't get back. It makes it really hard to want to keep going on. All I can say to people is, don't forget what it is to be human. Be kind. We're all just trying to survive.
Punished for being poor. Amber's story unfolds in Grants Pass, Oregon, a small city where survival itself has been turned into a crime. Living in what locals call Tent City, she spends each day battling hunger exhaustion and an endless list of city ordinances that make her existence illegal. Every 30 days, she's forced to move again. Her trailer's tires are flat, her cart barely rolls, and the few possessions she has must be dragged through the streets with nowhere truly safe to go.
Homelessness in Grants Pass. We're seeing new people each week out here. A lot of elderly who are being forced out of their home, foreclosures, etc. A lot of them have been out here for a long time. There are people out here being ticketed to move their tent site when the city hasn't given them an alternative solution to be able to be that safe. There are no affordable housing or low barrier shelters, and rent keeps going up and up. And so we're seeing more and more folks having to live in the parks or in parking lots with their cars. That's where the city's kind of designated places for them right now.
Food is another struggle. Her food stamps never last the month, and with cooking banned, she relies on microwaved meals and overpriced snacks from nearby stores. Survival costs more than ever, even as her resources disappear. In less than 2 years, Amber has received more than 30 citations, each one worth $295, for things as basic as owning a tent or keeping her belongings nearby. She can't pay them, and every new fine feels like another punishment for being poor. Her story isn't just about losing a home. It's about a nation losing its humanity, where being homeless in America now means being treated like a criminal for simply existing. How close are you to losing everything? One of the greatest myths about homeless in America is that it happens only to those people. The ones who made poor choices didn't work hard enough or gave in to addiction. But that illusion shatters the moment life decides to turn against you. One layoff, one hospital bill, one rent increase. That's all it takes for the space between comfort and chaos to disappear. Most Americans believe homelessness is someone else's burden, something that happens to strangers on the news, not to their neighbors, coworkers, or family. But the truth is far more fragile. Many who live on the edge today once had everything we take for granted: jobs, houses, routines, and dreams. They paid taxes, cared for children, planned for the future, until one unexpected event sent it all spiraling. Once the fall begins, it's swift and merciless. Behind every tent, there's a story that could easily have been ours. The mother fleeing abuse, the father who lost his job after a back injury, the family priced out overnight when rent doubled. Homelessness in America isn't just about those who've fallen. It's about millions now, standing on the brink praying they won't be next. Empathy begins the moment we realize that the line between the Mandus is paper thin, and tomorrow it might vanish completely. A system on the brink. Across the country, the shelter system, once seen as the final safety net, is collapsing under pressure. The policies meant to clean up the streets are built on a dangerous illusion that there's room for everyone who's been displaced. The reality is painfully different. Shelters in many cities have been at or beyond capacity for years. People sleep on hallway floors, share bunks and rotating shifts, or camp outside simply because there's no space left inside. Even those who manage to secure a bed find themselves in harsh conditions. Privacy doesn't exist. Personal belongings are often confiscated. Strict curfews and rigid rules create control instead of compassion. Couples are separated, pets forbidden, and anyone struggling with mental illness or addiction is frequently turned away. A place meant to offer refuge has become a system of regulation where people are managed, not healed. Meanwhile, new federal programs promise to move the homeless in America from sidewalks into structured facilities. But these facilities rarely address the real causes of the crisis: rent outpacing wages, medical debt, and the lack of affordable housing. They remove tents from sight, but not despair from people's lives. As one outreach worker in San Francisco said, "We're cleaning up the streets, not fixing the problem." This isn't just a housing crisis. It's a moral one, a reflection of a nation that treats homelessness as a stain to scrub away, rather than a wound to mend. Until compassion replaces control, America's shelters will remain what they are today: overcrowded, fragile holding cells for people who need homes, not punishment. Before and after. 6 months after the federal order took effect, America appears cleaner, but only on the surface. City centers glisten in the sunlight, park benches stand empty, and police patrols are routine. To the casual eye, it looks like progress. But if you follow the trail of where people actually went, a darker truth emerges. The homeless haven't disappeared, they've merely been pushed out of sight. Under bridges, behind warehouses, along freeway shoulders, new hidden camps have replaced the old visible ones. These scattered micro-communities make outreach nearly impossible. Aid workers have lost track of the very people they once helped. The cost of this invisibility is measured not just in statistics, but in lives. Hospitals in several states report rising cases of untreated mental illness, overdoses, and preventable deaths. Without stability or consistent care, people are slipping through the cracks faster than ever. In cities where encampments were cleared, the once busy spaces now sit fenced off and empty, sterile monuments to a crisis buried, not solved. The human stories once visible there have been erased, replaced by silence mistaken for order. The streets may look clean, but the truth of homeless in America remains buried beneath bridges hidden in cars and tucked away behind a nation's growing will to look the other way. The hidden cost. Homelessness has never been just about losing a place to sleep. It's about an entire web of disconnection. Mental illness, addiction, wages that don't keep up rent, that never stops climbing. and a system built on inequality. The story of homeless in America is at its core the story of imbalance between cost and income, between compassion and policy, between who gets seen and who gets ignored. Since 2020, rents in the United States have surged by more than 25%, while low-income wages have barely moved an inch. The average one-bedroom apartment now costs more than $1,500 a month, and in cities like San Francisco or New York, it's easily double that. Against that backdrop, President Trump's 2025 crackdown attacks the symptoms, not the roots. People think homelessness is a moral failure, says sociologist Eric Waters, but it's really math. When rent is 3 times your income, discipline doesn't save you. Even some within Trump's own circle admit the obvious. We can't police our way out of this, a Republican mayor confessed privately. But politically, the crackdown plays well. People want visible results, not complicated truths. And that's where the paradox lies. Clean streets, empty sidewalks, and fewer tents make for powerful images, quick victories that photograph better than policy reform ever could. But beneath the surface, the deeper problems fester. The long-term cost of ignoring those systems, affordable housing, mental health care, and fair wages, is far greater than the short-term satisfaction of visual order. Each sweep clears space, but every eviction opens a new wound. Each arrest hides a story that never gets told. Without rebuilding the system, the pipeline into homelessness keeps flowing. One eviction, one lost paycheck, one medical bill at a time. Homeless in America isn't a temporary crisis. It's the reflection of an economy that punishes fragility. Politics and perception. Homelessness has always been more than a measure of poverty, it's a mirror of what America chooses to value. In this new era, homeless in America has shifted from a social challenge to a political performance. Clearing encampments and relocating people are marketed as solutions, yet they often serve as stagecraft, an illusion of control rather than a gesture of compassion. The policies are framed as restoring safety and reclaiming public space, but what they really restore is optics, the appearance of order. Public opinion, too, has played its role. Many voters now equate visible homelessness with urban decay, supporting measures that make the crisis invisible. When the tents disappear, they mistake absence for progress. Yet the real roots, unaffordable housing, stagnant pay, underfunded mental health care, remain untouched, buried beneath layers of denial. As homelessness becomes a political symbol, human beings are reduced to props in a national performance. News cameras capture the cleanup, not the consequence. Politicians chase applause lines, not solutions. And with each policy that values image over integrity, America drifts further from its ideals. The real question isn't just how to manage homelessness, it's what kind of nation we want to be. Do we protect our public image or our people? Do we hide the pain or heal it? Because if homeless in America reveals anything, it's this: our crisis is not only on the streets, it's in our priorities, our politics, and our collective conscience. Until the country decides that dignity matters more than appearances, the problem will persist, polished on the outside, broken within. The streets in the nation. Across the country, the sweeps roll on block by block, city by city. Each cleanup comes with a press release, a headline, and a photograph of order seemingly restored. Sidewalks are cleared, parks reopen, the clutter replaced by calm. Yet beneath this manufactured image of control, the true cost remains unseen. There are no cameras for the woman who quietly died behind a grocery store, or the veteran now sleeping in his car at the edge of town. When the encampments vanish, so do the people's stories. What's being scrubbed isn't just the streets, it's the nation's conscience. For decades, Homeless in America has been the country's shadow, stretching further each time it chases the illusion of perfection. The cleaner the city appears, the deeper the darkness grows. Beneath the shine of downtown skylines, rents keep climbing, healthcare keeps shrinking, and families keep falling one paycheck away from disaster. Trump's sweeping crackdown hasn't erased the crisis. It's only hidden it behind new walls and polished surfaces. The illusion of control has taken the place of compassion, and silence has settled where empathy used to live. The streets may look clean, but the truth still lingers, waiting in the shadows, patient and unyielding. The moral question. At its core, the debate over Trump's homelessness policy isn't really about tents or shelters or executive orders. It's about identity, about who America truly is and what kind of nation it chooses to be. Will it be a country that prizes order over empathy, where peace means the disappearance of the poor? Or can it be one that dares to confront its own inequality head-on, no matter how uncomfortable that reflection may be? Cleaning the streets is easy. Understanding why they're dirty and healing the reasons they stay that way, that's what's difficult. The crisis of homeless in America doesn't belong to one city or one political side. It runs through veterans struggling with trauma families, crushed by rent hikes, young people priced out of opportunity, and the working poor who labor endlessly, yet can't afford a place to sleep. This is not just a policy failure. It's a mirror reflecting a broken economic reality, one that rewards the few while leaving the many teetering on the edge of survival. Trump's policies may change the country's appearance, but beneath that freshly cleaned surface, the same fractures run deep. For every cleared sidewalk, there's a person who's lost their last thread of stability. For every tent taken down, there's a life erased from the public eye. The nightly news pans across another tidy downtown, and the audience breathes a sigh of relief. Order, it seems, has returned. But out of the frame, a man like John begins another night alone under the cold hum of a streetlight, unseen, uncounted, and unspoken for. That's the truth of homeless in America. What looks fixed from a distance is only hidden up close. A nation at a crossroads. 6 months into the federal crackdown, one question still hangs in the air. Is Trump right about the homeless problem? If the goal was to make America look safer, the policy works. But if the goal was to make people feel safer, to actually protect human lives, the evidence is far less convincing. Homelessness has always been more than a political test. It's a moral one, a measure of empathy, a reflection of how a nation treats those with the least. Every citizen walking past a tent, every mayor authorizing a sweep, every voter nodding at the sight of a cleaner city, all are part of that reflection. America now stands at a crossroads. Will it continue down a path of enforcement where order is defined by how invisible the poor become? Or will it have the courage to confront the deeper truth that no nation can call itself great when millions of its people have nowhere to belong? Trump's crackdown has changed the appearance of the streets, yes. But whether it will change the heart of the country, that remains to be seen. Because anyone can clean a street, but to heal a nation, that takes something much harder: humility, honesty, and the willingness to see homeless in America not as a blemish to erase, but as a wound to finally heal.